Okay. Ready, Holly?
Hey guys, welcome to Wednesday night's Epic Team Call. I'm super excited. We have Alexis with us tonight, but we wanted to do some shout outs and some recognition before we got started. So we have our team builders. 19 new boss babes added into our team in the last 14 days. That's awesome. We have Vanessa with one coach, Rhonda with one, Kelly with one, Deanna with one, Brooke with one, Blasia with one, April with one, Morgan with one, Lauren with one, Cassie with one, Shelly with one, Brooke with one, Melanie with one, Amanda with one, Laura Fedley with one, Rin with two, and Ashton Fox with two. That's awesome, guys. And for Success Club so far this month, holy moly. Guys, you guys are rocking it. This is crazy. So we're like halfway through the month, and we have with Success Club 2, we have Lauren and Sarah, Ginny, Kendra, Kristen, Mallory, Megan, Blasia, Amanda, Rhonda, Kelly, Brooke, Shelly, Deanna, Shelly, Odell, Jamie, Jennifer, Kendall, Ashton. Oh wait, it just like disappeared on me. I'm sorry. Melanie, Brooke, Vanessa, Chelsea, Lindsay, Laura. Oh, Lindsay has Success Club 4. Chelsea has Success Club 4. Laura, Morgan, Kelsey King, Lindsay Duran, Cassie, myself, all with 4. And then Rin and Laura Fadley with Success Club 6 so far. You guys are killing it. That's awesome. And rank advances. Woo woo! Look at her go. So we have our new coach, new Emerald coach, Amanda. Rocking it, girl. Congratulations. That's so cool. You guys are doing great. So Alexis, I guess we're all set there. So if you want to take the floor, I just wanted to go through your credentials here, and I can't seem to locate them.
If you can't find them, don't worry about showing them.
No.
There's somebody on here that's not muted, and I have a really awful ADD. So that everybody's muted because I will be a hot mess trying to like focus on what I'm saying. I have the world's worst ADHD.
Well, I found your amazingness here. So you've been a coach since March of 2013. You're currently 5-star, 6-star qualifying as of right now. 56 months in Success Club, guys. 56 months, and you're a 6-figure earner. That is so cool. I'm so excited to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. So I'm so excited to chat with everybody. I don't know. I'm sure probably most of you have absolutely zero idea who I am. So before I go into my topic, I kind of just wanted to give a little background. I won't go too much into it because I want to share a little bit about me so you can get to know me, share my whole topic, which I'm basically going to be talking about fear itself when it comes to everything in this business, but also inviting. I'm going to be sharing about my inviting process. You've probably heard a million different ways to invite. There really is no right or wrong way. I guess there could be a wrong way, but I will just be kind of sharing about how I do it, how I kind of go about finding people, and kind of how that has changed because it's way different than when I first signed up in 2013. But to just give you guys an idea of who I am, like she shared all those fancy little accolades, which are awesome and cool. But it took me a while to like really get my footing with this whole thing. When I first started, rewinding back before I ever joined, I went to school to be a high school history teacher. And I realized it wasn't what I wanted to do, but I finished school. And once I graduated, 10 days after I graduated, I moved from the East Coast to the West Coast with a guy I'd been dating for like a year. And it turned into an emotionally abusive relationship. He was a compulsive liar. And we went from Washington State to Los Angeles to a place I thought existed, never existed. So we were homeless, sleeping out of our car, Like I was like showering on the Santa Monica beach in my bathing suit, brushing my teeth in Target bathrooms for like 3 months, just totally sleeping out of my car. And I was also struggling with 2 eating disorders, and it was just not a healthy space. Once I got myself out of that situation in February of 2013, I was diagnosed with PCOS, which some of you may or may not know what that is. It's polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's just things that affects like weight gain, infertility, all these things. And so when that happened, I was like, okay, I kind of have to get my health figured out, because before, if you follow me on social media now, you would have no idea that like 6 years ago, I knew nothing about fitness and nutrition, because I was like, that's my thing now. But when I first started, like I was like binge drinking Bud Light and like eating boxes of Hamburger Helper like every single day. I knew nothing about anything when it comes to health and fitness. And so I was like, okay, let me start getting my life figured out. I started sharing my journey on social media. I was streaming insanity from some random website. Definitely not, never purchased it. So if you have anybody that tells you that they got their DVDs or whatever on Amazon, do not mark them off, because they could totally be somebody that rocks it later on. But then I had my coach reach out to me, and she kind of was like, hey, you're doing this thing. And then it was like, I guess all she wrote from there. But when I first started, like the day I signed up, I was 40 pounds overweight. I was still struggling with 2 eating disorders, binge eating and bulimia. I hated myself. I was the most negative person I knew. And I was just, I wouldn't share my face on social media. Now I won't shut up on social media. So I just like to share that story, because if you maybe are a new coach on here, or you're a coach who's been doing this for a while, and you're chatting with someone who feels like they don't believe in themselves, like you hear it all the time. You hear it on National Wake Up Call, you hear it at Summit, where people just share about the places that they were when they first started and then where they've gone to. Anybody can do anything with this business. If I can be the hot mess that I was, and I am still a hot mess, my team knows I'm a hot mess, you can do that too. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a background of me. So let's go into the topic. So at the end, if you guys have any questions, like I said, I am ADHD squirrel. You can totally type in the chat box. I love seeing that, just so I know that everybody's like with me and I'm not boring everyone. I will totally answer questions if anybody has them at the end, but during the call, I won't, because if I answer a question, I'll be like all over the place. So the first thing I want to talk to you, and I have notes here, because again, I cannot stay organized if I don't. But I want to talk about fear itself. So fear is simply a perception. Fear is not actually a thing. It's just something that we think, right? So it's not an actual physical thing. There can be something that can happen and we can be fearful of it, but it's totally 100% a perception. It's just whatever's in our head. So you may say you have a fear of inviting, or that you have a fear of building a team, or you have a fear of hearing the word no. And a lot of times when people say that, they say they have that fear because they lack confidence. Like, I'm not confident in myself, which is why I have a fear of inviting. But I really think that it's less of a lack of confidence, and it's just the perception, fear, that you aren't good enough. But the thing that you don't really think about is that the whole not being confident thing is simply a perception. So, which makes sense, right? Like, okay, the lack of confidence is just a perception that I'm not good enough. But the biggest thing with all of this, and I promise I'm going to have a point, is with this is that it's the fear of failing, or you have the perception that you're going to fail, or you're not confident enough, so you think that means that you're going to fail. That if you send the invite, that you're going to fail to get a response, or you fail at even sending the invite in the first place because of whatever your fear is. But if you pay attention to all of those things I just shared, all of those things are just, again, a fear, a perception of what could happen. So you're stopping yourself from sending the invite. You're stopping yourself from possibly inviting to coaching because you're afraid to build a team, because you're just thinking about what could happen. But at the end of the day, that really is all just a perception of failure, or that it's a perception, which is fear, that you're going to fail. So I want to share with you what I share with my challengers when we have our prep week. So I do a prep week. In the beginning of every prep week, I ask them a question. I say, what is your biggest fear over the next 30 days? Like, what do you think you're going to struggle with most? And 90% of the time, they share that I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid I'm going to start this and I'm going to totally tank, or I'm going to fall off track. And my response every single time when they say that they're afraid of failing is that failure is only a thing if you let it be a thing. Failure cannot exist for you if you change your perception of it. So I tell my challengers, let's say you go the first week and you crush it and you do the whole first 7 days and your water's great, your nutrition's great, your eating's great, all of it's wonderful and amazing. And then on the 8th day, you have a bad day and you drink an entire bottle of wine and eat a whole pizza. Some people would be like, oh, I'm a failure. That means I failed. That means I have to start over. That means I suck. And I just say, the way you respond to that is just, oh, cool. That wasn't supposed to happen. big deal. I'm moving on to the next one. And I just take the power away from failure. So the reason why I'm talking about all of this, because I'm going to share with you guys the whole inviting process and all of that and like what I do. But I really think that fear is so attached to that if that's what you're constantly thinking about, it doesn't matter what you hear on the National Wake Up Call, what you hear on a team call, what you hear at Summit. If you have that fear, it doesn't matter. You're not going to send that invite. So you have to take the power of failure away. So again, in that same example, if you have a challenger, or you fall off track, I tell them, like, I will literally go about my next meal or my next day as if nothing happened. Again, it's kind of like fear's trying to knock on your door and you're like, I'm not answering. Like, it's not even a big deal. One of my favorite quotes from Thomas Edison when he was inventing the light bulb, he said, I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that don't work. And that's exactly how I look at this business, because I have failed my way to where I am. Like, so many times I failed as a leader. I have failed in like my goals. I failed in so many different things. Or I guess you could say I did fail, but it really was simply just, oh, okay, cool. That thing I tried didn't work. Let me try something new. And if you can approach inviting, if you can approach building your team, if you can approach any situation in this business with like, whatever, like it's not a big deal, then you will be so much better off. Now, obviously, like that's easier said than done. But if you go into that with like that Thomas Edison mindset, you'll be able to actually apply those things that you're learning. Because I think there are some coaches who like aren't afraid of it and they're just doing it and they need help with invites. But then I think that there are coaches who like keep getting told what to do, but they're so afraid that they're really secretly like not even sending any of those invites. So you just have to send those invites, and I'm going to talk about those tips and tricks in a second. But if you have to send those invites and say, I don't care if these people don't respond, I don't care if they say no, I don't care if my phone catches on fire, it doesn't matter. Cool, big deal, I'm moving on. And the last thing I want to share about this is about the whole perception thing, is that if you change the perception of I'm going out and I'm sending these 10 invites, I'm sending these 100 invites, whatever, to I'm not aiming to hear yes. The goal is never to hear yes. When I send invites, the goal is not to hear yes. The goal is literally just to plant a seed. And I'm sure you guys have heard this before, but that is, again, something that takes away the fear of failure, that perception that, oh my God, something bad's going to happen, away from that possibility. Because it's just like, okay, like I'm not here to say yes. So even if they don't respond or they don't say yes, that's not what you were looking for. You're literally just there to plant a seed, because you've planted a seed in someone's head. Because even if you invite and someone does not respond, you've still planted that seed, especially if it's somebody who's liking and viewing your stuff anyway. Okay, so before I get into the actual process, like I said, I have a really cool little thing on my computer where I can share my screen, and I'm gonna show you guys my phone and exactly what I do every single day. Before I go into that, I wanna just talk about two more things. So number one is the whole like, okay, Alexis, you just told me to just not care about what people are gonna say. That's really easy, thanks for that tip. But I wanna share like 4 things that can help you get to the point where you don't care. Obviously, you heard it 1,000 times. There's a reason for it. Personal development times 1,000. So instead of 10xing your numbers, instead of inviting more people, instead of talking to more people, instead of posting 10 more times, what if you tried to 10x your personal development and put as much effort into your personal development as you were into inviting? I'm not telling you not to invite, because I know this call's about that, but you want to make sure that you're doing that, because if the energy you're giving off when you send an invite, even if your coach told you exactly what to say, and even if you're sending the right amount of invites, if the energy is, oh my gosh, I hope this person says yes, I really want them to say yes, but what if they say no? Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. They will feel that. I had a team call with my team last night, and I was telling them, like, I am not a baby person. I don't want kids. Not that I don't like other people's kids. They're cute, but from a distance. Super cute. But I'm not like good with babies. I don't know. Like I hold them and they cry. I don't know if they don't like me. So I was holding my aunt's baby this past weekend and started crying. And I like looked at my mom. I was like, here, I don't know what to do to make it stop crying. And she was like, just like figure it out. Like you're gonna be fine. So everybody was looking at me and I was like, oh my God, please take this baby away. And it wouldn't stop crying. And then the more I started freaking out, the baby started freaking out. My mom was like, it is freaking out because you're freaking out. It feels your energy. So that same thing goes into your invite. So again, even if Melanie Mitro said, here is the exact invite I send every day, send that, you wouldn't see success with it because the energy behind your invites isn't there. And the only way to combat that is making sure that you're doing personal development. The second thing is using daily affirmations around your invitations. My team knows I'm very big on affirmations, and you can say, I am confident, I am strong, I am beautiful, all those things, those are great. But what I recommend doing is doing some affirmations around the things that you're fearful of. So let's say you're fearful of sharing on social media. Let's say you have a fear of sending out coach invites. What if every day in the morning and I do all my invites in the morning, it's the first business building thing I do because not that I don't like doing them, but I'm just like, I want to get them done and out of the way. So you can have affirmations around that. So let's say you're afraid of sending coach invites. You can say, every time everyone I interact with on my Instagram wants to join my team and thinks I'm the coolest person ever. Whatever. Obviously, you can word a little bit different than that, but you can say affirmations around those fears. And basically, and the best thing with affirmations I recommend is that your affirmations are always in present or past tense. You don't want to say, I will sign 10 coaches today. You say it as if it's already happened or if it's currently happening. That way, because affirmations are not just some woo-woo stuff, it's actually stuff that you're doing to something called the reticular activating system in your brain. It's real. It's basically, in layman's terms, the whole idea of like what you think about is what you see. If I tell you not to think about a pink elephant, you're going to think about a pink elephant. So that's how affirmations work. If you constantly are saying those things to yourself, and imagine if you were saying that like, you're there's probably kids on this call, but if you were like, I'm the baddest bee in the whole world when I invite and every single person wants to join my group, you totally come to your invites with a very different energy. So keep that in mind. And then obviously you've heard this before, but I share this with my team all the time, is that you want to set up your environment to get excited and thrive. So when I send my invites, like I put on my favorite playlist, like I am the bomb at making playlists. Check me out on Spotify, just kidding. But like I get myself really excited. Like I put on like my favorite music. I like clear my space. I like put all my crystals around there because I'm like super hippie. And then when I'm sending my invites, my energy is so much more excited. Now I send video invites and I will share with you guys exactly what I send. I'm going to show you a coach invite, video invite, and a coach or a regular invite at the end. But those are some of my tips. Okay. So another thing I want to share with you is that I find that when new coaches get into this business, they feel like they have to be like, all of a sudden they sign up and then they're a business coach. They're like, I'm a health coach. So when they send their invites, it's really vanilla. It's very like, okay, I'm a health coach now, so I'm running a business, which means I have to act like I'm running a business. And they send invites and it's like, hi, I'm Alexis. I saw that you were following my page and you should join my group. It's going to be really fun. You get a shake and you do workouts and we're going to have accountability and it's going to be the best. Would you like to join? And it's just, I'm not making fun of anybody or mocking anybody. You know what I mean? Like when I send my invites, I'm like, girl, oh my gosh. Obviously you don't have to talk like me. I am super high energy if you haven't realized yet. But I'm like, oh my God, girl, you do not even understand how much I just have to share this with you. I'm doing this program and the music is bomb. It's so amazing. I've seen you check out my stuff. So I don't know if you've ever thought about joining my group. Sometimes people are afraid to reach out. So I figured I'd let you know. But oh my gosh, I just have to share this with you. Obviously, like that's just random. But like that's what my invite sounds like. I always say when you're messaging people, I do video invites all the time. I video invite for like everything or video message. I act like I'm FaceTiming my best friend. And when you do that, again, the energy you share and you give off in your messages, people are going to want to respond. I ask myself when I send my invites, how can I share this, say this, do this in a way that someone's going to listen or read it and say, oh my God, yes. So ask yourself with your invites, are people like reading your invites and are they feeling that way? Are they saying those things? So then the last thing I want to get into before I get into the actual process, and bear with me because I know you guys don't really know me, but like I always have to be like extra. So I just want to explain to you So a few things I want to get into before the personal process of inviting is I'm sure you've heard your upline or whoever your coach is, whoever's leading you, National Wake Up Call, all those things, when they say, just do it, just send the invite, And then you're like, okay, I'm tired of hearing that because like, I know I need to do that, but I want to share with you why we say that. You can't figure out if you're good at inviting, if you're bad at inviting, if you need work on your invite, or what in the world you need to fix until you actually go do it. So I'm going to use the example of making out. But yes, like making out, kissing another human being. So take yourself back. So when you were in high school, maybe grade school, I'm not judging. I don't know when you had your first kiss, but let's say you hadn't had your first kiss. And if you haven't had it, you don't know how in the world anything works. Like you don't know how making out works. You can watch other people make out, but you don't know like what's going on like inside of their mouths. Like someone can tell you how to get good at it, but you don't really know physically exactly how it feels. And you don't know about like tongue placement. Where does my nose go? Like, is there too much saliva? Is there not enough saliva? Do I go to the left? Do I go to the right? Like you don't know any of those things. None of those things you know until you're sitting face to face with Bobby from math class at a house party playing Spin the Bottle, and then it happens and you're like, oh my gosh. So either some of you might be like, wow, oh my God, I'm way better than I thought. Or some of you are like, was that good? Was that bad? I have absolutely no idea. And some of you might be like, yes, that was terrible. Oh my God, I am not good at that, but I know what I need to work on. But until you do that and you actually have it happen, you won't know what you need to get good at. And I know it seems like a silly analogy, but it's like super true. We can teach you how to send invites and you can do all the things that I'm going to share with you. But if you keep letting that fear hold you back, or you only send out like 3 invites a week, you can't get good at it. Another analogy I always use, it's very simple, but it's just like riding a bike. If somebody told you, hey, you need to learn how to ride this motorcycle, they wouldn't expect you to ride it 3 times and then be like, yeah, you got your license. Like, it wouldn't work like that. So you just have to know the reason why we say just send it is just because you just have to send it. And I know it's easier said than done. But like what I recommend doing, especially some of you might not even be in this boat. You're like, oh, whatever, I just send the invites, I don't care. But for those of you that are letting, or maybe it's like coach invites that you're afraid of sending, Grant Cardone talks about it in the 10X rule, I believe, or be obsessed or be average. And he talks about like, if you're afraid to, he talks about like doing like sales calls or whatever. But he says, if you're afraid of sending invites or calling people about it, just make your list of the people that you are going to invite. Have your invite. I always have my video invite. I record a new video invite every single day, so it matches the clothes I'm wearing. Sometimes I don't, if I'm feeling extra lazy. And then I just go and I send. And I will pick like, however, I usually do 10 to 20 invites a day from people who are liking and viewing my stories. Now, some of you might be like, I have the same 200 people viewing my story, which that to me tells me that you're not networking. You always have to be, even at my level, I have a decent amount of followers on Instagram, and I am still every single day out there engaging on other Instagrams. And I'm going to share with you guys kind of how I do that and like the tips and tricks that I specifically go about doing it. But you have to be doing that to bring new people in. But that's kind of how I'm sending my invites. And if you're scared, just like send the invites and then like put your phone down, close your laptop and run away and like go play with your dog or something and like distract yourself. But the more you do that, then you'll realize, like, even if somebody doesn't respond, even if it rarely will happen, but your biggest fear is someone saying something rude to you, because I've been doing this business for 6 years and I can count on like one hand people who have said mean things to me after an invite. You will see, you'll get that invite and you'll have that moment happen and then you'll feel crappy, but then you'll take a breath and you'll be like, I didn't spontaneously combust. I'm still here. Not that it doesn't feel good to have, people not respond or whatever, but you'll realize that it's okay. It's like immersion therapy. If somebody's afraid of snakes, put them in a bathtub full of snakes and like make them sit there for an hour. After an hour, I mean, maybe they'll still be having a panic attack, but they'll probably be a little less like freaked out. It's just about doing it. So that's kind of why I'm sharing it. So as I go into sharing with you guys like my tips and tricks and things like that and sharing my phone screen, I just want to remind you that there's no right or wrong way to do it. I know some coaches that I've heard on the National Wake Up Call talk about how they hate small talk. I am a small talk person, but I can do it in a quick way. I have a process in which I do it. I know some people don't like small talk. They just want to get right to the invite. I have 2 different kinds of people I invite. I have people I invite every single day, 10 to 20 people who are viewing and liking my stuff. And then I have people who I'm building a relationship with, which I usually do from the moment I find them, from building the relationship to invite is usually about 3 weeks. That's like my thing. It's just kind of the way I do it. But just know that there is no perfect way to do it. Okay. So first I want to talk about finding people. Obviously, when you're first building your business, a lot of it is like friends and family, different things like that. Let me make sure this is going to work. Will this let me share? It should let me share. Okay. All right. Can somebody give me a thumbs up to just let me know that you can see my phone screen? Can you see my phone screen? Awesome. Okay. So first I want to talk about the whole finding people, because I can teach you how to invite, but one of the biggest questions I get is I don't know where to find people. The market's so saturated. False. There is 350,000 Beachbody coaches. I can guarantee you less than 100,000 actually are working the business seriously. And there are 570 million people in North America alone, 65 million in the UK and like 66 million in France. We haven't even scratched the surface of the amount of people that we can help. And we're going to continue to like do all the things. So don't have that scarcity mindset, have an abundance mindset, and know that there can be lots of amazing things. So one way that I find people, so we'll go to the explore page. I do not look through hashtags. I'm not saying they don't work. I use them on my page, but I don't look through them to find people because I find that it takes longer. So what I do is I go to the explore page and I will look. There's 2 ways I go about it. So one will be looking for people that I'm going to like find, I vibe with, and I want to put them on my contact list, build a relationship with, and invite them. Then I'm also doing the same exact process, but instead of looking more so into health and fitness Instagrams, I'm looking for Instagrams that are in a similar life phase as me. If you were at Summit 2 years ago, Bonnie Engel talked about going less for your interest. Not that you can't, because obviously I'm into tattoos and English Bulldogs, so there's a lot of those, and I build a lot of relationships there, but going through your life phase. So for example, I just got engaged last month, or 2 months ago, I guess, and so I'm going through the life phase of planning a wedding. So I will go into, well, let's just use this for example. So let's go to the Wedding Wire, Instagram, 764,000 followers. So what I'll do is I'll go to, I actually did it earlier today, I think. I will go to the pictures, and then you can see how many likes and comments there are. So I will go to the comments, and I will literally open every person and see, say, I literally found this girl. Just going through there. So, and I followed her. And so what I'll do is I'm going through there and I'm looking, because she's talking or posting on the Wedding Wire. A lot of times I'll do this because I'm going through the engaged life phase. So I'm looking for people who are in that same life phase. They'll post that they're, just got engaged, or I'll comment on a picture, be like, oh my God, we're twins. I got engaged like 2 months ago. And I'll like find a way to like comment on their Instagram. So I did this with another girl. Let's see if I can find her. So I did it with this girl. So I found her page. She commented on the Wedding Wire, went to her page, saw this, and was like, oh my God, this robe is adorable. Where did you get it? Well, so you see, I said, this robe is adorable. Where did you get it? And she said, this place I was trying dresses on, didn't get to keep it. So I'm going to start that conversation with her and just build that relationship with her. And look what happened when I did that. I don't know if she's here, but homegirl came and she followed me. I think it's too far down, but she followed me. Now, it doesn't happen every single time, but those are my two goals. So when I do this, I have the goal of either getting people to follow me that are just into the same things as I am, because I want to show up on social media. I'm not waiting for them to always reach out to me, but I'm hoping that they find my page and whatnot. So that's the way I network and bring people in, so then I can do the 10 invites a day for my likes and my views, because that gives me more people. And then the other way is when I'm actually putting them on my contact list and I'm going to build a relationship with them. So again, I go to the Explore page and I look for like a health and fitness picture. So whether it's food or like something like a workout or something like that. Let's see if we can find something. So, okay. So I don't know if that's a good Instagram, but okay, here's one. So again, you look for popular pages, pages that have lots of likes and lots of comments. So this has 5,796 likes. You can either go to the likes. Instagram likes to show you first the people that you're already following that also like that page. So you might sometimes come across that. Sometimes I'll just go right through the likes. Or the better way, I think, is to go through the comments. So I literally will go through the comments and click. Like, look, boom, super cool girl. She says she's in Berlin, so that doesn't work. But I still sometimes will just like pictures just to be like, hey, hopefully you see me. But I'll just go through the comments and I'll try to find people that are posting about health and fitness. Look, okay, this girl totally is. So let's see I don't know where she's from, but she's posting like her workouts or whatever. So what I would do, one of my first initial things is to go to the first thing I always do is go to their story and message them off their story. I don't message them and say, hey, your page is great. You're on a health and fitness journey. I am too. Not that used to work in the past, but it just doesn't anymore. I'm just like genuinely like commenting on one of their Instagram stories. I want to see if I can find somebody that this will work really well with. And a lot of time, even if they're private, because I have a coach, she's not on my team, but she's within our downline. I don't know if you guys know who Brittany Powers is. She hit top 10 like twice. She's a 4-time elite. She's in our downline. And she was private when my friend Emma found her. And she just happened to see that something in her bio caught her eye, so she followed her. And if she just assumed, oh, that girl's private, I shouldn't follow her, she never would have had that relationship. Brittany would have never joined Beachbody, and she would have been top 10 twice and 4-time elite. So never assume just because somebody's private. Sometimes I'll follow them depending on their page, like depending on like what they say. So you get the idea. So I go in the comments section of popular Instagram pages, and that's where I find my people. Now you can think about, again, your life phase, the things that you're into. If you're newly pregnant, if you just got married, if you are buying a new house, find Instagrams that you can think, who are other newly engaged, or what Instagrams are newly engaged moms going to? What Instagrams are moms of twins going to? You know what I mean? So think about that, and that's really how I find people. So then in terms of the process of inviting, so there's 2 ways that I invite. Every day I go and I probably have some in here now. So I go to my story and I click on the views and I literally scroll to the bottom and then I click. Now, once you do this for a while, you see people who you already know you've invited, or you see your coaches. But I literally will click and I'll just see. Obviously, I make sure that they're not already a coach. Obviously, she's already doing something. But I'll just click, and then I will click message, and I probably maybe – so I didn't message this girl. So I will send her a message right now. This is the message I was sending this morning. So I'm going to show you guys what this invite looks like so you can see how I'm totally just me and I'm not like trying to be some like fancy person. I want to show you what this looks like. Okay, I'll have to go to my – oh, this won't let me show it, will it? Maybe it'll let me show it on here. Hold on, I know I have one in here because I want to show you what this looks like. Hold on, it's going to take a second because it needs to send it.
I wanted to, I know you're like, why are you sliding in my DMs? There's that. I wanted to message you because I was randomly just going through my notifications and I saw your name pop up, and I don't know like if you see me share about it or not, but this new fucking program I'm doing is so amazing. I have to share it with people. So I don't know like if you've thought about joining, and sometimes people are afraid to reach out when it comes to joining groups because they either like, I can't afford it, or I don't know how it works, or whatever. Like there's a lot of misconceptions about everything. There's a bajillion ways you can join. There's not like one right or wrong way. But I have another group starting on August 26th, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. So if you want to know the details of it, let me know. I'd love to tell you about it. It's just been so amazing for the girls that I'm working with. If you're not, shit, totally fine. I just figured I'd ask.
Okay, so sorry, that was like, it was like going in slow motion. As you can see, I don't talk that slow. I don't know why it was going that slow, but like that's how I invite. I'm literally like, because a lot of people, and these are people who are already following me. This isn't like random people that don't know who I am. These are people who are viewing my story. And I always say, don't be afraid to invite those people, because it's like you work at Starbucks or you owned a Starbucks and people were coming in and they were using your Wi-Fi and they weren't buying any coffee. You know, eventually if they're coming every day and using your Wi-Fi, they're probably going to buy coffee, but they're more likely going to do it if you go over to them and say, hey, like, would you like to grab some coffee? You know what I mean? So don't be afraid to invite people that way. But a lot of people, again, the reason why I'm like showing my dog, because people, I swear to God, only follow me because I have a really cute English bulldog. And so like I include that stuff in there. Like I've sent messages where I have like face masks on. I'm in a towel getting out of the shower, like just so people know I'm literally just like randomly doing stuff and inviting them. And I feel like that speaks a lot more volume. So that's the first way I invite. I always invite at least minimum 10 people every day from my likes and my views. And once I do 10, I'm done. And then I move on. And I do this all the time, but I'm also always bringing new eyes to my page. So that way, if I'm inviting 10 people, eventually you'd be like, oh, you're eventually going to go through all these people, but I don't. Like I lose followers, I gain followers all the time. So if you're going back to the thing I was sharing about like going to the Wedding Wire or going to those pages and you're constantly bringing people in, it's much easier to build a relationship or have someone really click with you if you guys are into the same thing. So if we can geek out over the fact that we both have English bulldogs, or, oh my God, we just got engaged. Like, what are you doing for your centerpieces for your wedding? I'm going to be able to connect with them so much easier and be able to build that relationship. If they message me or they see something on my story, which they'll be likely to message me because I'm sharing about me and I just message them based off of something that we have in common versus, hey, we both just work out. Because people don't join your groups or join you because you're working out. They join you because you're also went through a divorce, or you also are into the same things that they're into, or maybe you're struggling with infertility. Like they connect with you in that way. So just keep that in mind. So that's first things first. And then the other way that I invite is building relationships with people, obviously, like I said. So I will find a person in this way where I'm like finding them, they're posting about like health and fitness things. And then I will always invite them or start a conversation with them based off of what they're sharing in their story. So I'm just trying to find somebody, for example. Okay, so this girl, obviously this isn't necessarily my market. I'm not necessarily into like power lifters. That's just not me. But like I could message her. Whoa, that's super loud. Sorry, guys. So I could just comment on this and be like, oh my God, that looks so good. Or I ate rice too, whatever. I could think of something more creative. So then once I send that invite, I put them in the notepad section on my phone. Now I use Google Streak to track all of my contacts. I highly recommend you use something more than pen and paper at some point. And if you're a new coach, please do it soon, because I did Google Streak after coaching for 3 years, and setting up Google Streak took forever. But I keep it in the notepad section of my phone, a running list of all the people I'm currently engaging with. So every 2 to 3 days, I go, I take their name, I copy paste, put it in there, and I comment on their Instagram story. I could like and comment on their pictures, but I want it to be more personal. And so I do that. I build my contact list, find my people, engage with them every 2 to 3 days. Now, some people don't respond. If they don't respond, one of the first things I do is I just go to their page and say, hey girl, comment on your post. Like, not sure if you saw it, but usually if they're sharing stories, they are engaging. And then I just build that relationship. And then the question I always get is, so what do I do, or when is the right time to invite? Like, how do I move the conversation from just chatting with someone to health and fitness? But you don't have to do that. If you spent the time just being friends with them, and you're not, a lot of people are always like, well, what if they think that like the only reason I'm inviting them is because I wanted them to join my group? That is what you wanted to do. All of you guys are here because you enjoy, like, you don't think Beachbody's a scam, right? I don't think you'd be on this call if you thought Energize was a scam. Like, we're all addicted to Energize, I'm sure. I know I am. But like, we love the workouts, we love the programs. Yes, Energize is amazing. Fruit Punch team Fruit Punch for life. But we like all of the products for a reason. So if you were trying to like sell them something that was going to like kill them, then yeah, maybe you could feel icky, but like, you love this stuff. So like, when I share with people, I keep it in my mind that like, I'm just sharing this with somebody, or sharing what I love with somebody. So I like to use the analogy of when you're invited, like you're building a relationship with somebody and you're going to invite them. Now I just send the invite, and the way I make myself feel, I guess, less weird, I don't really feel weird anymore, I always word the message as, hey girl, I meant to mention this, not sure if you'd be interested in this, but let me know. And again, I've built a relationship with this person. And then I'm like, again, same way, and I'll send a video invite like that. It'll just be a little bit worded, just a little bit differently, because I've just been building a relationship with them versus I just found them liking my stuff. But it's pretty much worded the same way. And I always say, like, I'd love for you to be a part of this, but if you're not interested, seriously, no worries, like, you're the bomb. Or something like that. Again, however you talk. But it's the analogy of, imagine, like, you probably know your neighbors, right? Maybe you don't. But like, if you lived in like a neighborhood where the mailboxes were at the bottom of the road, and you guys were both walking to get your mail in the beginning of the day, and you were like, oh, hey, hi neighbor, by the way, I meant to tell you, like, we're having a dinner party this Saturday. I'd love for you to come. If you want to bring a bottle of wine, like, come over. There's gonna be lots of food. It's gonna be amazing. If not, no worries. Because you know that person, you build a relationship. You don't have to like start the conversation and be like, so have you ever like liked dinner parties? Do you think you'd want to come to one? Maybe if I have one, you know what I mean? You wouldn't have to do that. So that's the same idea with the inviting process. It's build that contact list, send the first message, engage with them, just get to know them. I always like to ask questions. Oh my God, your leggings are so cute. Where did you get them? And I'm not just asking questions just to be like, blah, 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 blah. I picked this person for a reason. They seem pretty cool. I'd love to, I don't message people unless I like when I'm building a relationship, because I will invite anybody that likes or views my stuff, even if their stuff is private. But in terms of building a relationship, I'm not going to put somebody on my contact list if I don't feel like they're my vibe. Like, I'm not going to invite like a 75-year-old dude. Nothing against 75-year-old dudes. That was just not my target market. So hopefully that makes sense. So that's really all I have to share. I saw that there were some questions in here. If anybody has any question, tongue hockey, LOL. That's funny. Can you show your list so we can see what that looks like when it's built? So literally like I said, I use Google Streak, and I only put people in my Google Streak once they've like responded and we're starting to somewhat have a bit of a conversation. And then obviously if they said they're interested, but it's nothing fancy. So literally it looks like this. So I have, this date's wrong, I don't know why I have that in there, but so I have like people I'm going to invite to coaching. So like, these are all the people that I've invited. So once these people were all up here. These are people who I'm still kind of build a little bit more of a relationship with. Once they get invited, I just move them here. And if they don't really respond after a while, then I just delete their names. You know what I mean? Like, or you could put them in your contact list just so you know that you've messaged them, but that's what it looks like. And then I have like this is not fancy at all. So I'll have like people who have already invited to a challenge group, and I will check back in with them. But this is why I put almost everybody in Google Streak. And if I'm sure you guys probably maybe know what Google Streak is. I have a webinar that I always offer to share because I did like a 2-hour webinar, and I update it often because I know Google Streak can be really confusing, and I use it like more than anything else in my business. But I really use that to track everything because it helps me stay way more organized than this. But this is really all it looks like. So then I literally just will like double tap, copy, paste, interact, done. Move on to the next person. And this takes me like 15 to 20 minutes a day. Yes, it is something you have to do, but this is the bulk of what your business is. If you're wondering what top coaches do in this business, they're having conversations. Like that's totally it at the end of the day. Also, let me see. Does anybody else have any questions? Because I have one thing I wanted to bring up before I got off here, in case anybody did or didn't. Let me see if I can find it. If you can share the webinar, that would be amazing. Yeah, totally. Just I will, if I can remember, or if somebody has like Jatina's Facebook message, just remind me. I have the worst memory in the entire world. Where is this? Okay, here we go. I wanted to send you or show you guys a coach invite so you can see what my coach invite looks like. Again, and it looks different every time. Sometimes like,
Hi,
whoa.
it's me.
That's me. Sorry. There we go. Okay. This is an invite that I would send to somebody who I put on my contact list, build a relationship with, interact with back and forth on Instagram story. And a lot of times when I engage back and I'm excited, I create FOMO, I'm like all about their life, be more interested in someone else than trying to be interesting. But when I do that, like I feel like I'm able to build at least somewhat of a decent relationship with them as much as I can. So when I send the invite, it's just like, hey, I've been checking out your page. Like, you know what I mean? So
Hi, it's me. I've been meaning to message you for a bit now. And I just want to let you know I love your page. I love everything you're doing. I love what you post. I love your stories. I love the things that you share. And I don't know how familiar you are with what I do as a coach, but I feel like you would make such a great fit on our team. I don't just look for people who are working out and eating healthy. I mean, that's great and that's wonderful, but I'm looking for people who, one, I feel like I can hang out with on the weekends, which I feel like we could totally do that, but maybe that's creepy of me for saying that. And I look for people that like actually just want to inspire with their social media. Just sharing their journey, which you're already doing, and wanting to share that with other people, because that's what we do. Like at the end of the day, that's what my team and I focus on, is inspiring others with our own journey and wanting to help people. Really, that's it at the end of the day. So I don't know, like I said, if you're familiar with what I do, but I'd love to talk to you more about it. If you're like not interested, don't care, that's totally fine. I just figured I'd ask.
So you see, like, I just try to be real, raw, honest, genuine with people. And I feel like the more, and you might not be comfortable enough to do that just yet. Like, you should have seen my videos and like my team call stuff. Like, I looked like I hated everyone. I was like, hey guys, hey, what's up? Cool, welcome to my challenge group. Like, so I was not this person when I first started, and I had come out of an emotionally abusive relationship when I had started. So I was like a shell of a person. I had no confidence at all. But the only thing that really helped with that is just over time. It was personal development, but it was just time and being patient and knowing that I could get there and just consistently working to it and leaning into the team. I tell my team this all the time, and I think it's really important to note. If you are somebody who is a fly on the wall on your team page or a fly on the wall in terms of the community, lean into your team page, lean into the team, lean into the community, because this business is not supposed to be done alone. If you are a lone ranger, I have so many lone rangers on my team who just want to do everything on their own and they want to figure everything out on their own. I'm like, your confidence would build so much quicker if you leaned into the team page. I can't even, or just the team in general. I can't explain it, but yeah. So that's all I have. I don't know if anybody else has any questions. Hopefully that was helpful to you in some way, shape, or form.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alexis. I know, like, I was messaging Jana. I was like, we have to do this. Like, this is so cool. Like, so I really, really appreciate you sharing your process. And I know, like, it's helped me. And I know answering a lot of, like, some new coaches that we have their questions as well. But if you could definitely send that Google Street, because I'm actually setting up Google Street. So I would love to see how you are doing it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much for sharing, and we appreciate you so much. And guys, we will see you tomorrow. So thank you, Alexis.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good night.
You too.